Fellow citizens, friends, neighbors, I'm here today to ask your support as I run for state senate. While this is my first election for such an office, it's but one link in a long chain of events which actually brought me to this point. When I was a young Indian boy growing up in West Virginia, I actually watched my father, who was a physician, who was making house calls and giving medical care in exchange for vegetables. I saw him lead the county health department and run a private practice of over 10,000 patients. I saw how he treated all his patients with, regardless of their station in life. It's there that I learned the importance of fairness. It's through his influence that I saw just what a difference a motivated man can make for his community. And in keeping with this tradition, as I pursued school and ultimately now work in the inner city hospitals of Baltimore, where I help the indigent, the homeless, and the overlooked, I realized that some of the most meaningful moments in my life are holding the hands of my patients and sympathizing over the circumstances of their problems and the quandaries of society which brought them to this point, helping them and help them through it. As I vie for the state assembly, I realized that for me, the problems of the state are no less personal. Budget cuts will never affect a faceless, nameless group. I'll always see the faces and the names of my patients who are affected. This is one feature of me. Your problems are my problems. I make things personal. I believe in fairness. I often ask, why is society the way it is? I hear responses like corporate greed, farm subsidies, drugs and drug enforcement policies, sedentary values, childhood obesity, a broken healthcare system. The way I look at society is the way I look at the human body. It thrives when you give it proper nutrition and exercise and give it the opportunity to grow. When you discourage the bad habits by not indulging them and doing the hard work of retraining them, realizing, of course, that even motivated people struggle, and any respectable person struggles to reform. So in the context of society, that means that the nutrition and exercise is promoting education and making investments into science and technology, creating jobs to promote our long-term prosperity. As far as bad habits, we must educate ourselves against drugs, crime, and sedentary society, focusing on prevention. We must withhold funds which merely fuel the fire rather than extinguish it. As an example, as a medical doctor, I treat a lot of drug addiction patients. And the place for them is not jail for the nonviolent offenders. It's a treatment facility. We spend a lot of money not affecting the root cause of their problems, but separate them from their families, but this just creates another generation and their kids who repeat the same history. We can do better. Additionally, we also can educate our own children about obesity and incentivize healthy foods and values so that they lead better lives than ourselves, not worse. I would like to practice politics the same way I practice medicine, looking at the evidence, realizing what is best for all of us. We're very familiar with a lot of the skepticism surrounding the federal, legislation, the Congress. The last session was one of the least productive Congresses in history. Yet at the same time, the state legislature passed over 24,000 bills. This amount of opportunity to help people is why I'm so excited to run for this office. I'll work hard to ensure that we set up laws and legislation that encourage and promote productivity and creativity as a means to lift us up. I believe in transparency and engaging the citizens to participate in politics. That's what makes us a democracy. Decisions should be openly discussed and debated, not covertly scribbled by the pens of a powerful few. So, these are my visions. They're based on fairness and the common consideration that we owe each other. They're based on discussions with my patients, knowing that often what makes a patient ill, our society ills. There are tremendous challenges lying before us, but together with some diligence and enthusiasm, we can tackle this situation. Fairness is our path to prosperity. I want to thank you for your support. Please support me in the polls. God bless.